Good evening, everybody. So I'm actually rushing into starting the stream right now. I'm going to need a minute to get everything set up and ready to go. I bought a absolutely enormous cooler for my computer, thinking that that might be the source of my woes. Um, and unfortunately, it was too big for my case. And I've got a pretty big case. I just think that there's a couple of design choices that they made that maybe didn't work so well for the cooler. So I am lucky enough that I bought it from a retailer with a decent, kind of a decent return policy. However, I know I am going to have to pay for the shipping. So my next best that I've worked out here is I went in and I went really aggressive on some of the fan settings in my computer. I'm hoping that maybe that will help out with some of the other difficulties, because otherwise what I'm realistically looking at here is that I need to get a new case on top of a new cooler. At which point I just sort of raised the question, like, maybe maybe there's something else going on, right? So with all of that in mind, it is the reason I'm here late. I haven't actually had dinner, so I may need to take a break and and have some dinner. But I'll try and do that in the partway mark. All right, thanks for stopping by, Kieran. I hope you have a good day at work or whatever you're up to. I will confess, when I take a look at sort of like the resting temperature for my CPU, I always kind of question it. But anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right? So I am going to hop into Godless. We'll talk a little bit about the game and its new 1.0 release, and we will see where the night takes us. All right, sound is good, so got my computer set up. Here we are, 1.0.1.1020. So let's go to the options. Now, there was some talk from people saying that it would be nice to have a like a limit in terms of the frame rate. Now, that doesn't seem to be in the game yet, so I'll keep that in mind. Let's take a quick look at the opening post. I probably should have taken the time to actually show off the launch trailer. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this open. I'm going to take a minute to make the audio quiet. Can't do that to the desktop audio. All right. All right, bear with me a second here. Here is the Godless trailer. I think I can do better than that for resolution. I'm very intrigued by the fact that so many of those images seem to, or video clips, I mean, seem to have the max speed on. Makes me feel like I'm not playing it properly. Anyways, I need to take a minute just to get a couple settings back to where they were before we can listen to the music again. But yeah, so the game is out in 1.0. Hello everyone, I'm super excited to announce Godless is finally leaving early access with this 1.0 update. Take a sneak peek on what's awaiting your divine intervention in the newest trailer. If you're curious to discover what exactly has changed, feel free to take a look at the detailed change log here. This is a Google Doc. There's a lot of changes. I'm debating as to whether or not it's a good idea for me to... I kind of feel like jumping in is the best way to handle this. Sorry, I've got a dusty case that I'm contending with. I think I'm going to skip the patch notes just because I have had a lot of fun discovering all of the little goodies in the background. Apologies for those of you who like listening to me read patch notes. But yeah, so this game had a little bit of a bumpy road to the full release in the sense that I was first made aware of it due to it being part of Brace Yourself Publishing. So this game is now independently published by Daniel Kaluuya. I imagine in these kinds of cases the exact details of why and how far into the process this was, this happened. I imagine that this is just kind of something that is, I don't know. I don't think anybody will ever really, hear the full story. But I am number one, I'm grateful that it was originally with Brace Yourself Publishing because I wouldn't have found out about it otherwise. And of course, I am happy that while I imagine, there'll probably be a few different views. I don't know what the effect would be. Presumably nobody chooses a publishing arrangement thinking that it's not going to help. And so presumably losing that is not a good thing. On the other hand, when I took a look at the notification, I think they made a note here that basically there's no recoupment or no remaining recoupment for Godless. So as far as I can tell, the money is going directly to the developer on this. And I would also note that for those of you who had been waiting for this game to come out of early access, it is currently 25% off. So it is $12.99 Canadian already. Normally. But with the 25% off, it is $9.74. And to be honest, with that base price, especially for this game, I feel like you probably can just pay full price. Like, how much are you really? What's the major difference? What are you going to do with that $3? I figure there are. I know there's a type of. I guess there's a type of interaction on Steam, and I get it, right? Because I've got a huge backlog, but I do feel in some cases that like people really don't feel like they've gotten their money's worth in a game until they've just basically cheated the dev, and that always feels a little nasty. So for those of you that were intrigued by this game but waiting for it to come out of early access, here it is. Now is your time to support this interesting game, this interesting developer. I will also note the reason why I talked about the Brace Yourself Games connection was I did want to take the time to highlight the new Discord. So let me just take a quick second here to bring up the invite link. So Daniel's already been very active. It always feels weird to call people by their first name. I don't, most people I don't think I personally know, and it feels weird to say first name. On the other hand, it feels a little weird to say the first and last name over and over again. So, anyways, this is the place to go for Godless, and you can definitely see, first of all, if you were wondering what happens to this game after 1.0. There's already a little bit of talk of that. I believe there is intentions to support the game beyond its 1.0 release. On the other hand, of course, people need to make a living. So if the game doesn't have sort of a long tail in terms of people picking it up, I imagine there will be some point in the future where development ceases, and I'm hoping this means that he will move on to the next good idea that he has. But for now, we are going to enjoy the release version of the game. Now, we did have a decent win last time. I'm debating on going to the Magma Shrine. The Ether Shrine is kind of interesting, though. I really don't use its benefits. And we've already got some new shrines here. So there's the Druidic Shrine, the Blood Shrine, the Tidal Shrine, the Mystic Shrine, and we did unlock the Shadow Shrine at some point. But I think I'm going to stick with the Ether Shrine for starters. So I believe now Act 4 has unlocked, so I'm trying to remember if we did all... It's hard to imagine that we did everything on hard, but let's give it a try. I think Deep Freeze can still work for me. Light and Dark actually seems pretty cool too. This is a tough call. Yeah, let's try Light and Dark. We'll go more aggressive. Okay, so anomalies. Use crystals to add or re-roll anomalies before the run. The crystals are replenished after finishing it. So we've got Chaotic Growth randomly defines the number of basic tiles on each continent. Now this is brand new. Olaf, it is lovely to see you. Busy. I had a bit of a disappointment with the new cooler, or rather... not so new. I'm not. It's not in my computer, but I'm doing my best. Nonetheless, feeling a little gloomy about how Monday turned out, but I think the best way is to just move forward. I hope you're doing well, though. I feel like the very volatile starts to streams have been. You've been one of the biggest casualties to that. So, you give me a good reason to want to try and start closer to 7, but I know I don't always meet that goal. All right, but yeah, let's stick with the default anomaly to see how it goes, and we'll see how we fare with hard. Now I don't have my glass of water in front of me, so there's a small side of me that kind of hopes I get, just completely demolished so that I can kind of have a snack and maybe make some dinner or something like that, but. Let's work with what we can. So we've got a Pyromancer here, deals 3 damage to a random enemy for each adjacent plane hex. Now this is per turn. We've got the Swordsman, deals double damage if the target is weaker. This has usually been my backbone for a team. And then we've got the Magic Trap, deals 3 damage to an enemy on this tile, plus 1 more for each used spell scroll or auxiliary skill. I mean, it's tempting. But I don't know, like same cost as a Swordsman. Hard to turn that down. The Well of Souls resurrects any units that die here with 1 health, works once per unit. Now this is a tile, I need to remember, so not as exciting. Haunted Village adds +1/+1 to allies summoned on this or adjacent hexes. Or we can go for the Orc Shaman. All adjacent allies attack enemies immediately if possible. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about either of these. So let's try the Haunted Village. And we have the Sand Golem, destroys a tile on this hex to gain +2/+3. A Curse Spirit, all adjacent enemies lose 1 attack. And Totemic Circle doubles the attacks of any entering units. That would include enemies as well. Doing okay, and if we all lived in one time zone, life would be easier. I agree. Cursed Spirits definitely are helpful. I think I kind of want to try the Sand Golem. Okay, so it's going to increase the number of swamps. We've got a couple of Rune Masters, we've got a Battle Sorceress, and one Archdruid, so we could probably get by setting up in the woods. Oh wow, they're really sped it all up. Ah, there's not that many woods, and of the woods that there are... Oh, this is going to be interesting. So the Elvish Temple's definitely going to make me work for it. So the drawback here is that if I get too close to the... If I get too close to the enemy, then they just keep whacking away at me the whole time. But if I try and set up over here, the Rune Master basically automatically starts taking me out. So I'm going to put a shrine down here. Okay, let's just turn that speed down to 100. So this will allow them to move in. Now, I imagine the movement will be to the empty tile, which won't really help, but I'm not quite sure what else I can realistically do. I'll add a swordsman to the mix. Yeah. And then we'll just sit on the mana. Not a good start for us. Okay, so I think the plan I'm going to work with here is... Actually, I think the Golem's going to get hit by the Elvish Temple. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I think we just kind of hope for the best with the Golem, and I accumulate the mana that I can. Okay. Turn into a tree, copy a traversable tile to an adjacent hex, or soothe before death. Add 6 health, randomly split among all allies. I think I'm going to do the 6 health just to help with the impending Elvish Temple. But yes, we'll wait the 1 turn. Okay. Now at this point I do need to make a choice in terms of what I am putting down. I think in this case I'll put down another Golem. was a little worried that was going to happen. So what'll happen here is the golem's going to take some damage. It won't die, but we do now have an extra enemy to deal with, which is not so fun. This thing deals 4 damage to every unit outside the area, so I think we're going to keep doing what we normally do and put down... just keep building up the mana until... Actually, I guess one option I have is light and dark to zap the baddie here. I think I'm actually going to do that for the simple reason that the Sand Golem will be damaged otherwise. So, not so good for the footman, or the swordsman, but... Actually, I could put a haunted village down. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's put astral projection down. Has to be beside, okay. Ooh, I just killed the astral projection before we even got started. Loyal Village will add +4 health to allies summoned on the tile. Okay. So I would have preferred to put that under the swordsman to stop them from taking the damage, but I also want to keep my illusion healthy. They're also going to teleport to the shrine after the attack. I expect they will anyway. Maybe not. So if I want, I can do the light and dark to add +1/+1 to an ally and then deal 4 damage to an enemy. This would let me clear out the Rune Master. I think in this case, hello Captain Zergi. The other alternative is the swordsman moves up and is able to take out the battle sorceress. It probably would have been a little smarter to put that on the swordsman, actually. Well, that was a terrible turn for me. They get a free, oh no, they don't, because they moved up. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anybody around, so I'm gonna get hit quite a bit. So I think my best bet here is to summon a Sand Golem. And the reason I'm taking them a bit further away is just so that they can buff up on their way to the shrine. I don't think I want to exile, so we'll reassemble body, summon random ally on a random hex. So the swordsman is a 4/6, the sand golem's a 3/4, so we'll put the swordsman down on the friendly village. Because again, this is all about buying time for the golem to come in with its strength. We're also completely failing to do this in a timely fashion. Okay. Wave of enemies has been defeated. Select a powerful ritual as a reward. We can freeze any unit. Matter exchange, relocate a traversable tile to any hex, or swap it with any tile. Ah, now this might be interesting. So if I take this woods, this should let me heal up a bit. Oh, I did this at exactly the time that the druid's actually going to be pounding down with his magic. Not my brightest moment. So I'm gonna put a swordsman up here. Now there's a reason why I'm putting them kind of far away. It's so that they can boost up like so, and then I can hit them with light and dark. So this will now do double damage to this unit. Giving up hope quite yet. So we should be able to build a little bit of health back. So we put down, we can pay tribute, add 2 attack to a unit. If it exceeds its health, you get 8 ether. Burn on funeral pyre, grant a morale boost to the ally. Let's pay tribute. And I'm going to put a swordsman down here again. Part of this is about delaying rather than kind of delivering the coup de grace on the unit. In fact, the longer I can draw this out, the better it is, because it means I get to heal. This will probably be the last turn, so I do want to take the time to heal up the shrine where I can. So I think we're still 8 down from where we started, but I think that was an acceptable recovery, let's say. Alright, so we can bring in the Pyromancer if we want. Now the Pyromancer actually would do a good job with the Sand Golem now, I feel. We have Lava Field. On enter, deals 16 damage to entering enemies, 12 more if they were pushed here. Or Invigorating Flame, destroy a tile and add 4 health to the unit on it. I do kind of like the idea of the Lava Field, actually. So let's see where that takes us. Okay, Sanctuary for passive perks, Forge to merge sparks. It's a little early for us to do that, so I think we'll go for the double Sanctuary. Alright, Astral Pathway. We can teleport the shrine to an adjacent hex of your choice every 5 turns. Adjacent is a little bit of a problem here. Teleport anywhere I'd be happy with, but that would make it too strong too. Ether Energy adds 7% of the shrine's health and attack to Ether on battle end. That basically doubles up the utility of the sanctuaries here. And Complex Alchemy adds +1 attack to a random ally whenever you gain Ether in battle. Oh, we are definitely doing that. I will definitely pay to pick a perk again. So same Astral Pathway. Master's Presence adds +1/+1 to allies summoned next to the shrine. Rich Soil adds +1 Ether whenever you create or destroy a tile. Now that's tempting, but I think we're going to do Master's Presence in this case. So we won't pay the 70, but what we are going to do is we're going to move to the Sanctuary for another batch. So Rune of Power adds +5 attack to the shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. Ether Energy, 12% of the shrine's health and attack to Ether at the battle end, or Strong Will adds +1 health to the ally summoned not next to the shrine. So that kind of contradicts the Master's Presence, and in fact, the fact that I get +1/+1 next to the shrine, I feel like Master's Presence is stronger. So in this case, we'll do the Ether Energy. Kind of reminds you of Slay the Spire, but a turn-based strategy style. Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely the sort of deck-building roguelike is a tried and true indie genre, but I'll be honest with you, this is the very first time I've really gotten into an auto battler, and so Godless kind of has a special place in my heart in that sense. But yeah, I think the Slay the Spire comparison is a decent one for the simple reason that you know, it because of that deck building element, right? I think this is actually a really neat take on it. So like I sound very cranky sometimes in terms of indie games, and it's because I often look at the fact that, you know, the costs for making games have never been lower, and I am kind of talking in economic terms, right? Like obviously people need to make a living, people need to support themselves, and so on and so forth, but just in terms of what it takes to make a game, it is considerably less costly than in history. And, you know, people are saying, you know, and to a certain extent, right, I don't like the idea of trying to tell people what the contents of their head contents of their head are. But on the other hand, right, like, sometimes when you see indies and they say, you know, oh, I just have this passion for making games, the thing that makes me feel a bit discouraged about this is that if this is true and it's the one true passion, when you take a look at a lot of the stuff that's come out, it can very often be, you can see the really clear kind of riff that the game is off of. And that's not always a bad thing necessarily. I think it's fine to have influences, but I think there is a difference between doing, you know, Rocket League is popular, I'm going to do my less expensive version of Rocket League. Obviously, that's free to play now. And, you know, there's obviously a number of other games that you can do out of this. So, like, you know, Slay the Spire is a wonderful game, and I have no doubt that it will create a number of imitators. But the indies that I always tend to like are ones that either do something completely different, which I never would recognize or never think to do in the first place, or it's something like Godless, which when you look at it, it's one of these things where you kind of smack your forehead and say, you know, of course, why didn't I think of that before? It's such a good fit to a certain style of game. And yet, as far as I can tell, this is the first time someone has ever done this, which I think is a really neat thing. So yeah, I think the comparison is a very fair one, Captain Zergy. And how are you doing, Vesper Fortune? RPG Maker 2000 was free for a bit, and RenPy is always free. I'm not familiar with RenPy. I'm assuming it's a Python library. Now, I don't know what Star Shards are. Creates random tile on an adjacent hex every 2 turns, and Fighting Spirit enemies gain +1/+2 on attack. Great. Ah, gotcha. So we don't need to worry about any Archdruids. So I definitely want to set the shrine up in a nice, safe forest. Okay. Now it's going to be a little tricky to decide where the lava field goes. Oh, crap. I forgot about the Elvish Temple. So I have a plan for that. I think my best bet here is just to put down a swordsman on each side and whack away at the bad guys. The 50 obelisk strategy would be amazing, but we don't have it. There is no undo button, unfortunately. Okay. I had other plans for how this was going to go, but... All right, so this is where it's going to get a little dicey. I think the problem here is the lava field is an on-enter, so I can't hit the sage with the lava now because they're moving in and getting ready to attack. But I do have plans. So this would have been a time when I would want to put the lava down, but again, I didn't time things out properly. No. The insurance policies are for wimps. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to boost the health for the shrine, so the swordsman's going to be able to take care of them here. And I'm just kind of accepting the fact that there's not a lot that I'm going to be able to do about this sage, so I might as well eliminate one of the bigger sources of damage heading towards me. And then the hope is that I can make up the loss in the next round. Okay, astral projection, summon an illusion next to any ally, create a random harmful tile, or teleport any unit to any hex. I think I'm gonna go for the illusion. Doesn't offer that much protection, but it'll keep them distracted. Copy a traversable tile to an adjacent hex, or add +6 health. We'll do the extra health. Add +2 attack to a unit. I think we'll do that. And I will wait. So we'll see if this Elvish Temple gets replaced or not, because that's going to determine whether I wind up wasting some lava. Yeah, looks like I'm wasting lava. Okay. I'll wait the one turn. I don't think anything's going to change the calculation, but... This is a very risky strategy I'm doing here, but I pretty much have to do that now because this unit is so close to dying, and I think just in the interests of preservation, again, this was supposed to be the turn where we tried to build up a bit of health, so... Alright, so that was a good call as well. Alright, that turn actually, I think that's as good as I could have hoped for that turn. So this one I'm going to do light and dark, just to snipe the Phantom here. I imagine we won't be getting the extra experience, but we might see some extra health if I get a lucky run. By the way, I get to properly shout out Vesper Fortune this time because I can tab out into the chat. I feel like Vesper's been doing a lot of RPGs lately. Or maybe Vesper always does RPGs, and I just don't properly recognize them as RPGs at the time. But actually, give me 1 second. Hopefully I just made a broadcaster smile. Okay, we can create a random beneficial tile, 2 places of power. Let's see what we can do with... So we can at least let the lava deal with the ogre here. Yeah, we should actually do a pretty decent little bit of damage. Destroy a tile and use the next chosen fate twice. Now we won't have a chosen fate, so let's make the cursed spirit. And I'm going to resist the urge to do the like light and dark is a remarkably tempting one to do because I basically get an extra. By the way, I know that was a crummy shout out compared to some of the other ones that I normally do. Just I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. I am trying to keep... I realize that in this one I sometimes run into the problem of not describing my actions as much as I should. And so I want to try where I can to keep the focus where it is. But for those of you that haven't seen it, Vesper is a lot of fun. I will say one thing for Vesper. like I like to shout out the people who I enjoy watching for sure, but one of the things that's really nice about Vesper is that it's one of the clearest cases where I've seen someone from the channel stop by his broadcast and specifically mention a thing that he did. In this case, this was about the Satanic Panic. And so I always feel it's a little easier to shout out Vesper for the simple reason that I have that direct example of someone saying like, yeah, I'm into this. So that's always nice. And it's always nice to see people actually following through on the shout outs and supporting broadcasters, because believe me, I know how hard it is. So I suspect this unit will take some damage, but that might actually take out the ogre. Yep. So that should be GG for us. So this unit will do 22 damage. Copy, traverse. I guess the question is, do I want to go... So God of War, all allies can retaliate, but all enemies have +1 attack. Or God of Life, each battle adds +1/+2 to the first summoned ally, then doubles its health. Oh yeah, no, we're totally doing turn into a tree. +2 health is too good to pass up, so... Oh, adjacent, damn it. There we go. Because I expect us to win this turn, the best thing for me to do is light and dark on the shrine. Another boost to health. And again, the drawback here is that we are finishing with less health than we started. But I feel like I'm at least starting to get something approximating a plan. And we do see some health for our trouble. Okay, so we've got Furious Brute pushes the target on every second attack. We've got the Consuming Inferno, which destroys 2 tiles, or Death Energy. I'm going to try the Furious Brute, given how the lava field works. So the problem here is that to set up this combo, it's basically... it's like 5 mana and a lot of planning. But I also feel... Oh, this is interesting. So I guess you get the energy based on the summons that you do. That'll probably be another factor that I consider moving forward. Okay, the Broken Island. Legends say that the last Elvish Emperor was once imprisoned beneath this island. It was when he broke free that the land was sundered into pieces, granting it its name. So we're going to be going up against Orion Steelhoof, limits the attack of the enemies and summons dire wolves. We've got a Meteor Shower, which destroys most tiles on the continent, and enemies can receive only up to 11 damage from a single attack. So this is where that nonsense of obelisk strategy would have worked. Okay, chamber maybe. Let's try. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to pay up. So for our talents, an ally attacking a weaker unit is granted +1/+1 So weaker is a unit with less attack than the attacking unit. Now this is a way to like really augment the swordsman. Alternatively, we have the Kiss of Death. Upon an ally's death, a random enemy will receive 3 damage. Now that would be okay if I had a bunch of little enemies to sort of run into the bad guys with, but I don't. So I think we're going to do Supremacy. And then here we have Flame of Vengeance. On an ally's death, adds +1 attack to all other allies. And Weapon Mastery grants Blade Fury to every summoned ally. Blade Fury grants an additional time for... I'm assuming this is an additional attack. Yeah, I like the idea of this. In theory, how much could I buy if I wanted? 17. Okay, we'll just leave that there. Crossroads. We've got a hidden workshop. Acquire the perk of another shrine type. Deluge completely destroys 1 random hex on the start of the battle. Altar of Elements. Pay 60 ether to acquire a copy of my +3/+3 Divine Inspiration. And the Alchemy Lab, we could sell the Furious Brute for ether. I'm going to take the copy. And I don't get to renew one. Maybe because I don't have enough. Ether. All right, this is going to be a really hard encounter for me. You can have the Army of Suicide or people who actually live and deal damage. Listen, I'd be fine with a suicide army if I was built for one. And no opportunities for me to... Oh my god! There's like nothing here. Alright, so I'm gonna minimize the number of opportunities for me to get clobbered. So first thing I can do is leave a lava surprise. And I think in this case I'm going to go for light and dark. And this is because I get an insta-kill on the direwolf. So this is where the Furious Brute will potentially make sense, but I need 3 turns for that now. Sacre bleu! So I think in this case, actually, my greater temptation is to put the lava down. I'll probably pay for it in the form of the wolf, but... Good God, man! Please kill the wolf. No. All right, I'm going to prep with the lava field here. So obviously this wolf gets by for free. Leave me alone! Okay, nothing I can really do at this point. I can lay another lava trap, but I think this could be GG. Yeah, I don't see how I survive a 29 attack. Well, lessons learned. I do sometimes wonder if I should start building towards a particular enemy encounter. Because I've definitely found myself overwhelmed by a couple of the bosses' styles. All right, but that's why we play. All right, let's see what we've got here. So I have already invested a bit into things like Divine Inspiration. I've got 690 to work with, so my options here are Magic Absorption. The boon is an active upgrade to seize its benefits, plus 2 more Ether as a battle reward. Celestial Crystals will give me plus 1 crystal to add or reroll anomalies before the run. Good Omen would give me discounts and rare power-ups at locations between continents 5% more often. Enlightenment would choose a scroll at the start of each run. And Stored Energy would give me 2 free attempts to recreate a continent per run. Visual customization, I feel I will wait for, for later. Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite feel, I don't feel compelled to take any of these, especially when building up experience will allow me to get another shrine. So we have been going for about an hour, so I will leave it with you, chat. I did not do dinner before I started broadcasting tonight. So I feel like before doing another proper run for this this game, it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to just heat up some leftovers and, chow down. I might also just take a quick look at my work messages and see how everything's going. But I don't know, is that okay? Because I know the reason I'm asking this is that for Dead Space, when I reset the stream, like everyone went away and nobody came back. So, I mean, if you want, I can try and push through it. But if that will not be a big deal for, if it won't be a big deal for me to take a bit of time to have dinner and all of that, I'm happy to sort of stream through to the end. Okay, Olaf's given me permission, and what Olaf says goes. But I will just caution you that it is going to be a little bit longer than my usual ones. So I'll try not to drag my feet, but I am eating and I am going to get myself sorted out. So just heads up. We will it will be a little bit longer than the usual ones, although I know the ones that I plan to be short are still kind of not short. So anyways, we'll see how it all goes. Thank you for your understanding, and I will see you all in a little bit. I'm sorry to keep you all waiting. As you can hear, there's the last little bit of bread making its way down. Holy crap, my tea is hot. But I did get the tea. Vanguard Master, very good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Godless has followed in your footsteps. I think you may remember this went through, still out of town in the bush working. Well, I appreciate you stopping by nonetheless. I was kind of wondering about you, but, you know, I didn't want to... I know you are almost certainly working in the oil patch, so it's like, every friend I've known, you know, during that is just sort of out in the wilderness. But yeah, no, Godless, I don't know if you recall, was set up through Brace Yourself Publishing, but is actually now independently published through Daniel Kalupa and just came out for 1 point. You had a bear visit your shack. Like, when you say bear... Anyways, but the, not the, great Canadian, classic Engel, was it Marion Engels? Let me actually... Yeah, Marion Engel. For those of you not familiar with Canadian literature, that's where I was going with it, Vesper. But for those of you unfamiliar with this excellent classic of Canadian literature, this won the Governor General's Award. They've changed the cover since then, but... Anyways, yeah. I know you... I don't know if you've done a 1.0 release yet, but Daniil Kalupa's got 1.0 for Godless this week. I'm very eager to... Well, I have been playing it, but I was very eager to see how it goes. And I am... Oh. I see you sent photos. 1 second. How do I do this? Still in EA. You have to make a few changes to the game we want to make for 1.0. Yeah, no worries. I don't want to trespass upon your limited internet. But I do appreciate you stopping by. For those of you that are not familiar with it, the game that we're talking about with Vanguard Master is Warbringers of Angrel, which he's been supporting. In fact, he's been supporting through a day job in Alberta, which is, I believe, on its way to becoming an independent state. We like Alberta. Alberta gives us energy. You wish? Oh, come on! I believe in a unified Canada. I came from out west. I was unhappy with the idea of Quebec separatism. It is one nation, coast to coast to coast. Anyways. We're going to do the Ether Shrine again. And actually, this time, I think really what it's going to be is we'll try and do everything that we did before, but maybe pick up from the lessons that I... try and take on some of the lessons that I learned before. Anyways, yes, so Vanguard Master is a game developer, Vesper is a game streamer, and we are enjoying a wonderful game, Godless, which is enjoying its 1.0. This unit is Spellbound. Spell scrolls and auxiliary skills trigger twice on Spellbound units. Tempting, but I'm not quite sure how I make that work. Now, Bloodlord, I seem to recall, did some pretty wicked things last time. Whenever gains +2/+1 whenever an adjacent unit dies. And an Elementalist adds +1 health to all adjacent allies and deals 5 damage to all adjacent enemies. I think I'm going to try and build something around the Elementalist. So we've got a Blade Master. Whenever enemies enter adjacent hexes, this unit's attack is doubled. The Plague Boar on death applies 3 poison to all adjacent enemies. So that would have worked well with the Bloodlord. And the Beast, upon receiving damage, gains that much attack. You know what? If I combine that with the Elementalist, I can see some things working here. So we've got the Curse Spirit. On death, all adjacent enemies lose an attack. The Carnivorous Flower. Whenever an adjacent enemy receives damage, applies 1 poison to it. And the Grove Keeper. On attack, triggers the each turn effects of all adjacent tiles and units, but we don't have... Oh, we do have a turn, the Elementalist. No, I think we're going to go for the Curse Spirit. Alright, so we've got a Magic Tempest, increases the number of tiles, and we have Ancient Rune, which is going to be a problem with the Rune Master, but we only have 1, and we do not have any Archdruids on their way, so this may be a chance for me to try and build up my health a little bit. So I do need to worry about the Elvish Temple. How do I want to do this? So the problem here with the Battle Sorceress is that it says on attack she teleports to the shrine. And the other drawback here is that with the Rune Master, he's just going to summon a whole bunch of extra units to deeply inconvenience me. So one option I have is to have my own people sort of build up their strength over time. It occurs to me I don't have a way of replacing the Elvish Temple here, so that's going to be another liability. So let's start by putting down a beast. And in fact, I will also put down an Elementalist. It's 25% off right now, so mere $9 Canadian and change. It's pretty good. It's a very unique sort of take on the... no, this is just sad. I will content myself with another beast. But yeah, it's a roguelike deck builder, so, you know, there's the sort of shades of Slay the Spire and such. But I think what really makes this special is the... like, it's the first auto-battler that I've played where I really sort of feel like I'm kind of getting the hang of things. I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can stop the Battle Sorcerers from moving up and attacking the beast, and I don't think there is. So I will take my lumps. Although I might want to start summoning more beasts in the forest just so that they can get that extra health. Fair. And yeah, that's kind of the case I've made for Godless, even while it's been in early access, is that, like, you know, I understand that people want a good deal and all of that, but, you know, like, it's really hard to see, like, what discount is going to, like, really move the needle in terms of enabling things you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So I expect we are going to get the worst of the Elvish Temple here. This has actually been a pretty good turn for the AI. Well, at least we get a retaliation. But yeah, so the beast here is kind of the unique kind of counter to... That was unintended. Add one attack to an enemy. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any adjacent enemies for me to... Yeah. So let's go for the unit with the highest health to boost their attack. All right, sounds good, Vanguard. Thanks for stopping by. Morale boost or pay tribute. Morale boost is kind of tempting because of the extra attack per turn, but the more turns that go by, the more likely we fall to the Elvish Temple. So I think this unit dies to the ogre when it moves forward. So it probably would have been better for me to +1/+1 it here, although it would have died to the swamp then. That's not so bad for us. So I would expect, yeah, they'll hit the elf. Not enough to finish the job, but... There was also something I was going to mention just before, and I completely lost the plot. That was an easy one to choose. I'll remember it just as I go offline. Okay. The Elementalist is definitely a tempting one because of the synergies with the Beast. I think I'm going to go for it, actually. And... I think I could probably also get away with bringing the beast in on the ogre. No! Now that's just unfair. Okay, astral projection is tempting. Why not? All right, I'm going to save up for another beast. This is mostly just my insurance policy in case things don't work the way that I expect them to. I expect we'll take 5 damage from the unit and then the attack. But we have 33 that we'll be bringing down on that. So we can consume the soul for a cursed spirit or exile. No, exile is too risky. Quint, 728th of your name. Dry Human Canadian is building yet another empire. In this empire, the Ministry of Silly Walks will be the largest agency. How are you doing, Quint? For those of you not familiar with Quint, I don't believe you stream, but I do know them from Outworld, who is somebody that I've known basically as long as I have been on Twitch. Incidentally, I am going to do light and dark on my shrine just so that I can boost the health. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Quint, but this is Godless. It's a roguelike kind of deck building auto battler. So if you can think of a game like Teamfight Tactics or Auto Chess or anything along or Dota Underlords, anything along those lines, and then put that through sort of a lens of Slay the Spire. That's kind of what Godless is. It's quite a small indie game in the sense that I get the feeling that there are not that many people that know about it. It actually just got its 1.0 release out of early access, and it's only about $12 or $13 Canadian, so it's about $9 now, 25% off launch discount, which is quite a generous discount. Normally it's about 10% off. Then again, I mean 10% off of 13 Canadian's about $1.30, so maybe that'll cover like the tax on your parking or something like that. But yeah, no, it's quite an inexpensive game, but there's a lot of value there for what you get. And the funny thing is that I was never someone who was really into auto battlers, but this is the game that actually got me into them, or at the very least, it got me into Godless. I don't know if I would pick up Teamfight Tactics off of this, but I think it's definitely a really well done one. $750 US, cool. Man, I feel like the totemic circle. Like, this is such a dangerous one for me to put down in terms of where the enemies would be, but all right, the Antarda Kingdom. The first mortal to slay a god was born in these lands. Agatsura, the slain, was your beloved younger brother. So it's a flood, destroys a number of hexes completely. Bloodlust enemies will gain +2 health whenever any unit dies. So minimize the number of cursed spirits that we send out, I think is the lesson here. All right, so we've got the forge. We don't really have much in terms of sparks, though, so this would be a bit of a waste. We've got a merchant and a chamber, or a merchant and a sanctuary. Sanctuary tends to give me some more interesting things, so First of all, let's see what we can find skills-wise. So the lava field wound up being quite strong. Ferocious Bear gains +1 attack whenever adjacent units gain extra health. Swordsman used to be my workhorse. Unholy Touch, swap the attack of 2 units. Tempting. Pyromancer would have been good in a previous run, but... and a giant turtle. On move, upon entering a seaside hex in its turn, it gains +1 attack immediately and then takes an extra turn. Oh man, and it only costs 1. So there are definitely some virtues to the lava field for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely pick that up. The question is, do I try and go for another... You know what? I am going to do Unholy Touch. It's a risky one, but I can see... I can see this getting me out of a jam in a couple of cases. Okay, now we get our options. We're probably not going to be able to get a second one here, but we've got the Rune of Power, adds +2 attack to the shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. Master's Presence adds +1/+1 to allies summoned next to the shrine, and Unwavering Faith upon summoning the shrine, it gains +2 health for each adjacent tile. I'm going to do Master's Presence. And we're going to have to deal with an Archdruid at the start, but I'm still probably going to set up in the woods. Because we'll have 2 other waves without those attacks. The real problem here is just trying to find a way to minimize the number of deaths. I'm okay sticking with that. So what I'll do here is we'll place the shrine in an out-of-the-way place. Actually, this would have been an even better spot for it, but never mind. Where's the ogre going? Okay, so I was sort of wanting to put the lava down, like on the Elvish Temple. I'm gonna put the lava field down here just so that we get a head start on the enslaved ogre. And I've got a beast, but I don't have enough for an elementalist, which I am okay with. What I'll do here, I'll start the beast off on top. I'm a little worried the beast might chase this way and land on the lava field. Okay, so that was a good start. Now, okay, so Beast is moving in here. That'll lock the Archdruid into a fight, which I'm good with. I'm going to put down an Elementalist. So the idea here is that this is both going to heal the Beast, as well as potentially damage rivals. Now, because the Ogre is basically going to be making a beeline for the shrine, I'm going to save up for another lava field closer to the shrine itself. Hey, give me that swamp back. So again, same plan as before. We end the turn. Actually, the beast will die to the druid this time. Yeah, they'll die to the druid this turn. Oh, my bad. No, hang on, because it's 3 damage to... Yeah. And that's the outcome we want to avoid. But I do have a plan for the ogre. So they are going to be moving on to the swamp here. We watch them set foot on a very unfriendly... Now, it's possible that this would have actually switched that over. I would have been very sad if that happened, but... And this is pretty fortunate for us because they're going to die to the lava, which means that we can generate some health for ourselves next turn. Although I think this unit might die. Soothe before death for 6 health or execute. I think I'll soothe before death, even though cruelty does give some nice bonuses. It's mostly just to try and bring my shrine health back up. So here we'll just wait for the turn. This is just accumulating some more mana. We know we don't have to worry too much about anything else. Nope, we still make it. Okay. Alright, now that's inconvenient. But I can do astral projection. So this unit is going to cause us quite a bit more difficulty, but the hope here is that copy a traversable tile to an adjacent hex. So basically what I'm hoping here is that the ogre winds up setting itself on fire a couple of times. In fact, I'll make this a particularly miserable trip for him. It might have been an idea for me to invest in the Rune Master, taking out the Rune Master, but I don't know, there is something very amusing about annihilating this ogre on its way to... Yep, that was the other thing I was worried about. So this unit dies to the Rune Master. Both units are going to heal up. So this thing's going to die no matter what. There's no point in trying to recover it. What I am curious about is what lava looks like in the later turns. Okay, so they're going to take the long way. This doesn't help me too much. Against my better judgment, I am going to put the lava down here just to stop the ogre from doing too much damage to the shrine. I think actually the rest of the turn is going to be just making a field of miserable, miserable places to cross. We take damage to his special ability, but he dies to the lava. I do have the option of stopping the damage by putting lava on the Elvish Temple, but they have mostly been helping me over the course of this fight. I think Execute is not a bad place to start. I am slightly tempted to put down a beast. The problem is that the beast can potentially wind up moving to some places where they'll get damaged, so I'm trying not to give the enemy too many advantages. Now this is kind of funny. I don't see how they could move through the Elvish Temple, but in order to avoid more of these things showing up, I am going to replace this with lava. Again, dragging this out is not the worst thing that can happen to me just because I so regularly generate health. So yes, we do take the 4 damage. I guess it's 4 damage every 2 turns, but given that there's the 4... Like, this will eventually be replaced. In fact, I might even just replace it with lava now. Stop that. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this one first because that's permanent and it's gonna trigger next. So I'm kind of cheesing this, but honestly, the ability to gain this extra health, especially seeing as I've already gotten rid of the turn bonuses, this is not a major hardship for me. I don't think there's any situation in which these units actually wind up damaging me. I'm going to do something a little funny here. I'm going to put the beast down, and that's kind of on the expectation that the Elvish Temple isn't going to do enough damage to the beast long term for it to count, but they are going to wind up accelerating the damage. Oh, that's not good. Oh wait, that is good. Glad I didn't get rid of this now. So basically, the damage is going to accelerate the health for the beast, and then the beast is just going to generate its health each time it goes to the each time it stays in the woods. Womp womp. Hey, you can't do that! Okay, teleport a unit to any hex. Create a random beneficial tile. I'd be slightly tempted to, like, destroy this hex completely, but I imagine... Well, what would happen if I... Like, I feel like this could potentially lock the game out. In this case, I'm going to pay the ether. Let's get him set up on his lava trip. None of that's enough to kill, unfortunately. So the drawback here is any lava that I put down in these areas will potentially be replaced by the Star Shard. What I want to do is maximize the number of times these units are standing on dangerous tiles. So mostly I'm just going to be watching where they're moving. And again, it's built around this fact that we've already lost the bonuses, so staying in here and healing up while... You know, the enemy just kind of puts themselves in a situation where they take spectacular amounts of damage by walking on lava. Like, that's a good deal for me, right? I can speed up the battle speed if I want, but in this case here, just the way that these units get bonuses when units die, and the particular deck that I have makes this sort of the most viable option. One other alternative, I think I'm going to do something a little risky here. So this has worked well for me because this Elvish temple has been blocking the way. The thing that I feel okay about here is that even if they do run in, there's multiple tiles of lava, and there's going to be one more here. And so that'll be sort of my insurance policy to make sure that these... Damn it! Actually, that works even better. So that does the block, but that also stops the... So it stops them from moving, but it does damage them when they're next to it. So I feel bad about losing the mana, obviously, but... Okay, so another thing that I want to be thinking about in terms of my mana use, I feel pretty secure in terms of where I am with my tiles. I think as an insurance policy, I'm going to wait one more turn on this, but I kind of want to get to a point where I'm going to be using light and dark each turn to further augment the shrine. So just in case something unexpected happens and I want to put an emergency lava down, I'll make sure that I have three mana set aside. But other than that, I'm going to start using light and dark, mostly to boost the shrine. Like, again, just give myself a larger reserve of health for the subsequent turns. So I don't have anything to worry about for this unit. It'll take 5 from the volcano, but specifically the fact that it's moving into the lava field means it's not a problem. Doesn't really matter which of these I hit. Again, if there's emergency mana requirements, get myself set up. This unit was a little bit of a bust just because it wound up going back and forth. It's nice. If I was in a situation where it would wind up taking some damage, it would be a very formidable enemy, but that's just not how that worked out. Okay, summon a 2/2 copy of an ally on an adjacent hex or execute. We don't really accomplish anything with either, but the cruelty ones do wind up giving some nice boosts. The poison is particularly effective against people like the boss that I lost to. Oh, and you know what the shame is? We've got 3 mana. I should have spent that on boosting this character, my shrine. Oh well. Okay, so I realized that wasn't the most dramatic. Scenario I could have shown you. Now I guess the Treant gains +1 attack or health growth. Creating any tile on an adjacent hex upgrades the ability, making it trigger +1 time. This would be a cool one. Again, I imagine I have to clear out space before I can take advantage of this, though. So I'm going to go for a Spark of Death, just because it's the more permanent of the options. I can't remember if we're on the boss next. We are, and it's Orion Steelhoof again. So we know we want to get rid of the wolves. That got out of control really quick. I am going to do the Sanctuary. Now, I do question whether I want to go to the Merchant in this case, because so many of these are, like, we've really already decided where we are here. So I'll do the Sanctuary, and we'll see if we can make something out of those sparks. Okay, we've got Ether Energy, adds 7% of the shrine's health and attack to Ether at the battle end. Rune of Power adds +2 attack to the shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. And Rich Soil adds +1 Ether whenever you create or destroy a tile. I'll settle for Rich Soil given the fact that I am putting down a lot of lava lately. Strong Will adds +1 health to allies summoned not next to the shrine. Astral Pathway teleports the shrine to an adjacent hex of your choice every 5 turns. And Unwavering Faith. I'll try Strong Will. There have been a couple of cases where that works for me. Master's Presence obviously is the higher priority of the two. And I am going to pick one more perk. In this case, Divine Protection is really tempting, actually. Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, Winds of Change creates random tiles from another act, and Fighting Spirit enemies gain +1/+2 on attack. So that's going to get out of control really quick if we don't. All right. So if I put Death as the main and... Is it Nature or Life? Yeah. So corrupts this unit on summon and sets its stats to 2/2. I don't like any of that. Corrupts is kind of tempting because it triggers twice, but on death adds +1 growth to all adjacent allies. Okay, I definitely know how the Sinister Topaz is going to be used. So we'll put that on the Elementalist. So if it wasn't clear what happened there, either through gameplay, purchasing, there's a number of different ways that you can get them, but you get these sparks. So there's sparks of fire, sparks of nature, and sparks of death. You can use them when you get to the forge to create gems, and gems can be used to augment your different skills. Anyways, we had some trouble with Orion Steelhoof, so limits attack of the enemies and summons direwolves. Winds of Change creates random tiles from another act, and Fighting Spirit enemies gain +1/+2 on attack. So the wolves wind up buffing Orion, and then the Orion also has the ability to set attacks to 4, which is very inconvenient. I'm a little lucky. I can put the forest, shrine down in the forest here. Now, yeah, the units moving into these tiles actually create a problem for me. So I'm going to start with double lava. This isn't exactly the bravest move I've ever done, but no! Don't do that! Kind of makes me want to put a cursed spirit down, to be honest. I want to be careful on the number of those that I throw down because I do still need to put the lava down, but... Okay, so passive summons a direwolf every 2 turns. On move sets the attack of all adjacent units to 4, and on attack adds +1/+2. On move adds this unit's attack to all adjacent allies. Christ almighty. Alright. So yeah, we're doing what we can to make fiery death for this guy. Oh, this thing's still gonna buff him, though. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to live with this, so... I expect this guy is gonna be ridiculously strong by the time we have to fight him, though. No! Oh my god, this is a disaster. Casual little 25 damage. Oh, actually, Unholy Touch. That's my get out of jail free card. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I should be able to put down one more lava. I'll maybe double check this, but... Yeah, no, that's exactly how I'm playing this. I'm going to let him buff up as much as he wants, and then as soon as he's ready to attack me, we Unholy Touch. Put down the totemic circle to show how confident I am. Now, if I put the lava field down here, that's actually still not enough. I'm slightly messing up the numbers here, so I want to be very careful about the order in which this stuff happens, because it's the difference between me getting like a brutal attack. Now it's getting really interesting. So I'm wondering if there's a way... Yeah, see, the thing is, I don't think there's a way for me to take out the dire wolf. Yeah. Don't lose your nerve, just... So this should be the first unit that moves. So what we do here is we do Unholy Touch. So it'll attack me with 8 and I retaliate with 196. And it's a lava for good measure. Oh my god, I forgot. No, hang on. I'm calling shenanigans, okay? On that other... on that other continent, it had the armor. Summons a direwolf every 2 turns, sets the attack of all units to 4, adds +1/+2. I don't see the sign that says there's a that says there's armor here. It does say limits the attack of enemies, but that was a sets the attack of all units to 4. I was taking that as. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that I was missing. I mean, we're dead. There's no way around it, but I think this is I think this is the game cheating. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do to see the effects, but yeah, I don't know about that one. I think if it explained that it had that armor ahead of time, I would have felt a little more okay about that, but it does actually make me think that there's really only one strategy for that unit. Hello, Mad Dad. How are you doing? Okay, we should have time for one more. We're going to do basically everything exactly the same. For some reason, we've got another crystal here. Alright, Protector of Nature, attack is always equal to health. Elementalist adds health to adjacent allies and 5 damage to adjacent enemies, and Beast. Elementalist was a bit more circumstantial, but I saw the comment, Mad Dad. I kind of had to rush to get the stream started, so I'm sorry I didn't reply to it, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be sure to link. I know you usually want to know what the next series is, but I actually don't remember which ones you've seen or not, but I will definitely give you the link to the playlist again if you don't already have it. But as always, I appreciate you going through my old stuff. I know you're going to catch up before I'm able to generate another full series for you when you get to the end, but still appreciated. Okay, Zealot of the Circle copies an adjacent traversable tile to a chosen hex every 2 turns. The Flaming Meteor deals 20 damage to an enemy, plus 20 more if it's on a plain hex. I mean, this would be a nice one, except for Orion Steelhoof would probably take like 2 damage. Oh, have you seen a Dancer playthrough before? And Mark of Darkness deals 4 damage to any unit and corrupt it, plus 12 damage if it is already corrupted. Now, I actually like this a little bit more because it costs less mana. Alright, yes. Crystal Demon, on death, a random spell or tile costs -1 mana until the end of the battle, minimum 1. That is a tempting one, although it's very expensive. Okay, I think I'm going to risk an Archdruid again. I'll put the shrine by the temple on this one. Okay, so let's hit as many people as we can with this. They get hit by the swamp twice, which would be 6 damage. I think I'm just going to go for the corruption again here. That's going to mean that I'm sort of... I kind of have to be on hold for a little bit, but... This is a fairly powerful spell given what it does for me. I do, however, want to have allies on the table at some point. So there'd be 9 damage that we'll take from this unit all told. Actually, yeah, no, 9 damage no matter what. So it's going to take the damage, double damage from the ground. I think I'm going to end the turn because I want to see what enemies come up. Ah, fair enough. I think that playthrough didn't 100% turn out the way that I was looking for it to go, but I'm still... Hopefully you'll find it's worth it. Okay, Black Hole. Destroy all tiles next to any unit. Sigil of Life. Create a random beneficial tile, or triple the speed rewards. I can see a Black Hole working. Actually, I probably should have just taken the ether, but... So what I'll do is I'll go Mark of Darkness... Ooh. Random Allies Knight. Well, he's not gonna last long. Mark of Darkness is quite a strong ability, so I'll probably spread the love first this time around. So there's a temptation to do the extra damage to this unit first because it's closer, but they are going to get hit by the swamp twice. Mind you, this one also gets healed twice now, so... Not quite enough to take it out in one go, but... In fact, if I think about it, so if I do Mark of Darkness... No, it's plus 12 damage, so that's 16 in total, so yes, this will kill it. This is more... Oh no, it's going to die to the swamped rat. I wanted to absorb the cultist's attack. That was probably a dumb move, actually. That was a waste of that. A waste of mana. So that's not quite enough to finish the job, but Light and Dark does actually give me enough to take it out. And that damage will happen before they attack. Okay, I do like the idea of the illusion, although I'm not sure it's going to help me that much. Given that I don't have any summons right now. So I'll do my best. Oh, actually, I wonder if they'll attack the... I guess they would attack the closest... They would attack the closest allied unit. So I need to find a way to move that mountain, otherwise it's not going to matter. So yeah, I am actually feeling a bit foolish in terms of my choices here, because I needed to get that curse down sooner rather than later. Stop it. Well, I mean, it gives me something. It is a little weird that I've not, I haven't actually really summoned any units yet, but I will see where this goes. I think my only real option here is to wait and get the other Mark of Darkness. We want to do as much damage to this unit as quickly as we can. We've done fairly well with health, so having to give a little bit of this back isn't the end of the world, but I can't afford too many more of those. Although if we wind up against Steelhoof again, I suspect it'll just be one turn that takes me out anyway. Okay, so we can take this next turn. Although, I think what I want to do in this case, I do actually want to draw this out a bit. So there is some logic behind what I'm doing here. We've already passed the speed rewards. So what I want to do here is I want to make sure that I can kill this unit on the turn that I choose. In fact, I'm going to take the time to zap that one. But basically what I want to do is I want to draw it out so that I can have another turn where I heal myself inside the forest. Yes, they would be damaged by the lava tiles twice, based on my understanding. So the specific wording for corruption is tiles abilities trigger twice while corrupted units are standing on them. That's actually a little bit different then. So what we would want to see is a corrupted unit, what happens when they walk on an ancient rune. So yeah, obviously we gave up the rewards, but I think in the end it was worth it. I'm still gonna say that Unholy Touch can potentially get us something here. But yeah, so the entrance to the lava might be the thing that makes that different, Vesper. But yes, if it worked the way I thought it worked, it would actually result in a preposterous amount of damage from the lava. Although, of course, we don't have lava now. Okay, I can go for an early forge, although I think I'd be spending a lot of ether. Chamber and I think I'll do a chamber and a merchant. The sanctuary would have been nice, but oh, and it's discounted. Presumably not enough to take me up to 60 though. Yeah, so we'll go up to 25. So, Sinister Sorcery, whenever get a random scroll whenever you summon 9 units, or Soul Drain sacrifices a chosen ally on turn 3 to summon 3 Cursed Spirits. Neither of those are the most exciting, if I'm honest, but now I imagine I don't have enough to, yeah, so we'll keep our ether for the store. So I know we're coming up against a continent where people have armor. I can bring a ghoul, swaps the attack with the target. If this unit's attack becomes 0, it will turn into an enraged ghoul. Well of Souls resurrects any units that die here with 1 health. Shadow Mirror, kill an ally to summon another random ally of the same mana cost. Cleric adds 2 health to all adjacent allies. Darkblade Assassin on attack corrupts the target or gains 2 attack if already corrupted. So that actually aligns well with my Mark of Darkness. And Battle Right add +2 attack to an ally, +2 more for each adjacent plain text. A plain hex. It's a little tempting to go for both here, actually. Let's try it. And I can get some discount. And well, no, I can't because I don't have the money. I don't know if I made the right choice with the skills there, but I like where this is going. All right, not a lot for us to go with. I'm going to set myself up in the corner here. This does mean I'm going to have to face the wrath of the Elfish Temple, but there's a couple things I can do to make life easier for me. So if I take the Mark of Darkness, I can actually apply that to both. The question now becomes, do I want to bring a Darkblade Assassin into it? Let's see if they can make it. Again, I'm not expecting miracles with these two, but... So it's really important here that the Darkblade Assassin is chasing after the unit as opposed to being in a position where the unit can sort of follow up. Now, one thing I'm noting here, they're going to cross the swamp twice. So it's 11 damage. In this case, I'm going to want to do the Mark of Darkness on this unit. Now, interestingly enough, the armor doesn't seem to have done anything here. Sacrifice the shrine. This is a bit of a shame that this is happening, but... So now we, yeah, we'll reassemble the body. Here we wait to put the curse on someone. And I guess at this point, because I'll have the 3 mana, but I imagine they're going to get nailed by the swamp before too long. But yeah, overall I'm not that worried about the ogre here, just because it's going to be walking into the swampland before I need to worry about it. An elementalist might not be a bad choice here. Too close! I'm gonna skip here. And I think the ogre gets the first curse. The good news is the Rune Master doesn't really have anything to generate those nasty creations with. Also, we do get our corruption on the Rune Master, so that's a nice little bonus. This unit's still gonna die, but... Alright, everybody gets to join the party. I'll put the curse down on the ogre first. I'm a little more worried about the explosion that it does. We're definitely going to give back some of our health in the next couple of turns doing this, but I'm working with what I got. You know what? I'm gonna do kill in a duel just so I can get a nice little... You kidding me? Attack the adjacent enemy. Ugh. So the problem I have with summoning a Darkblade Assassin here is that this just boosts its attack, and I've got a few turns where they'd be crossing the swamp and the temple would be attacking, so I'm just going to take my lumps and hope that I don't pay too much for all this. Okay, this sorceress is going to be a bit of a pain. So, you know, against my better judgment, here's what I'm going to do. So I don't want this unit attacking this unit. So I'm going to do Blazing Soul. I'm going to make a Super Curse Spirit. And that's partly in hopes that I can somehow get this unit, the Battle Sorceress, to cross into the Gale. Survey says no. We can double up the damage from the swamp, but I am going to take a lot of damage from her. So I can make my life a little bit easier if I damage her. So I'll get some health for myself. She'll die before she can attack. The drawback is that the ogre is likely going to make a boom before he dies. See ya. So, let's be honest, this wasn't that great of a turn. 44 health at the end of all of that, but we got through it. Okay. Overgrown Ruins doesn't do... I think we just go for the nature energy here. That's somewhat permanent. Who are we up against? Talvius. I don't think we're going to do any better. Create some volcanoes on the continent and enemies apply poison on attack. Good God. First and only negotiations between gods and mortals took place here. Common wisdom holds that the land was whole before that. Okay, so crossroads to forge, crossroads to merchant, or chamber to crossroads. I think I prefer chamber to crossroads. I do not see how I can beat Talvius, to be completely honest. Okay. 15's enough. We have Inexplicable Fear. When you don't spend mana on your turn, a random enemy will lose 1 attack, or Kiss of Death. Upon an ally's death, a random enemy will receive 3 damage. Well, Talvius is alone. I do like Inexplicable Fear, though, so I'm going to stick with that, possibly to my detriment. And we have Sacred Monument, adds 2 ether whenever the shrine gets extra health, or Emerald Defender adds 3 health and grants Intimidation to a chosen ally on turn 4. All adjacent allies lose 1 attack. Now, this would be tempting if I could make my unit survive. I think I'm going to settle for... Nah, you know what? We'll still do this. I'm not feeling great about my prospects here, though. So we've got Hidden Workshop. We can get Supernatural Strength. All spellbound allies have +2/+2. We can get a Grove Keeper next turn. Nah, I'm gonna act like we're gonna continue on in the game. Alright, I'm gonna go for a kind of ballsy strategy here, but I'm interested. So we're gonna start with Mark of Darkness. And I am gonna put down a Darkblade Assassin. So again, we want to make sure that we're following the Darkblade Assassin. Now the catch here is that every time he goes into the War Graveyard, that's gonna trigger twice now. And you know what? Let's hit him another time with that. And of course, he's going to come back after dying. But there is a design here, so we're going to let him sort of chase him down and hit him as many times as possible. I am also going to keep augmenting with Mark of Darkness to hit his damage. And what I want to make sure is I have enough with Unholy Touch in the last minute to sort of disrupt his own plans. Can I not sacrifice it? Yes, turns out I don't have to sacrifice it. Cool. Okay. Not ready to give up the full 3 mana yet. I could be creating some problems here, but let's see. I'm going to make another one of these for reasons that will make sense in a moment. Hello, Locust 101. I'm doing okay. Yourself? Okay, now to my understanding, there's nothing else that Talvius can get to boost his attack. So this is where I will do Unholy Touch. Why 8? I thought I had 5. Anyways. Now he comes back. He probably won't be cursed, though. Oh, he is. Okay, cool. So this unit's definitely dead. So what I want to try and do here is minimize the damage to myself. I guess just doing taking out Talvius with the... Oh man, I keep forgetting to take off the Twitch Plays tab. I'm sorry I've been very unclear with everyone about the fact that I want to play games myself. Alright, Lava Field would be nice, but I don't have the room. No, I'm not asking you to lurk, Mad Dad. I'm just asking, you know... Here's the thing that really bugs me about this. I don't think it's unreasonable to basically just take the view that people should be allowed to learn a game themselves. Like it should not have to be that someone goes out of their way to say, "Don't tell me how to do stuff." But on top of that, whenever I try to express and again, maybe I'm wrong. I've just spilled my water, so this might be the end of the stream too. On top of the fact that I think this is actually a very reasonable and like uncontroversial thing to ask, whenever I try to enforce that, I always get the same sort of, "Oh, okay, I'll just stop talking in your channel then." And it's like, no, that's not what's being asked. What is being asked, though, is that I just be able to make my own decisions and, to give the promise that when I need help, I'll ask for it. And I can never get that. It always has to be like this go for the nuclear option as soon as I try to ask, a very reasonable request. So, I don't know what else to do, right? So anyways, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to take some time now, and clean up. And I realize we don't have that much time left, so I'm sure a lot of you are probably just gonna, I don't know, tune out. But sorry about this, but I do actually need to clean up my desk, so I'll be back as soon as I can. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not gonna lie, it is not looking good here. But there's really only so much that I can do. So I'm just going to hope. I've had some fairly important papers that are like quite badly affected. It's water, so I'm sure I'll be able to get through it, but yeah, it's not great. But I've done what I can, and let's see what we can do to finish off this stream. Also, if you're a certain Australian broadcaster who I like to shout out when I can, do you want to stay anonymous, or do you want to thank you, Vesper. Do you want me to take the proper time and shout out your good works, or should I just shut the hell up and keep on doing my whole thing? Sorry if you had to hear my my disappointment. Okay, our options. Consequences. Wise ruler. Despite your disdain for mortal kind, you acknowledge the few among them who are clever and useful. You travel forth and gather the wisest mortals from across the burnt continents and to form a personal council who will offer you guidance in exchange for their safety and a modest fee. So we get a random scroll at the start of each battle, but unused scrolls disappear after each battle. So this is one that I've liked because I don't normally use scrolls. So it's sort of a status quo sort of thing. Now what's interesting here is that this will actually push me over into God of Blood. So summons a bone horror on turn 7. Oh, this is different. So the last one I had actually gave poison every turn. So summons a bone horror on turn 7. It gains +2/+1 for each dead unit, but presumably if the bone horror is destroyed for any reason, I lose that benefit. So we've got Tyrannical Reign. You have eliminated most of the humans and elves inhabiting these lands. Those who remain live under your heel, barely surviving in the ruins left in your wake. All of mortal kind, even those you count as allies, are fated to die slow, lonely deaths under your rule. And Hunger for Mana. You despise humans, most of all human mortal races, but their cunning nature may prove to be useful. You promise mercy for revealing sacred sources of magical energy, which they gladly do to save their precious lives. 4 places of power on each continent. Places of power, if the entered unit is an ally, that you get +2 mana. The tile disappears afterwards. And you cannot have a shrine on some hexes. Also, that gives God of Fire. Destroy 5 chosen tiles on battle start. All adjacent enemies receive 7 damage. God of Knowledge, whenever you create a tile, gain 4 ether. You know what? I'll be honest, all of these actually disappoint me a bit. I don't have the like bonus to summoning people beside the shrine, so I think I will do Tyrannical Reign here. I don't think I'm going to be able to complete this run unless we die the next turn, but I'll go as far as I can, especially because I had to clean up the spill. Okay, you have ascended as a God of Blood. Summons a bone horror on turn 7. 3/3? I feel like this... I mean, okay, actually, sorry. I should be thinking about this. This is disappointing, but it may be because the Ascensions were overpowered in previous iterations. But yeah, I don't know. Like, 3/3 is not that exciting. Okay. We can go for the Sanctuary, and I can re-roll these quite a bit. I can try to go to the Merchant, although we're full up on the units and the skills. Chamber might be interesting, actually. Okay, so if we go for the ultimate, we don't have even remotely close to enough. We can at least get the 15 here. Alternatively, I can try and go for the... okay, so the catch here, if I go for the higher nature talent, I can't get the... Oh. Okay, panic. Whenever allies attack 5 times in total, all enemies will lose -1 attack. And planned assault, spend at least 3 mana in 1 turn to grant +2 attack to all allies. Neither of these really set me on fire, but... Okay. I think I'm going to save my ether. The panic one is tempting. I just don't think I'll have enough people on the board to make that worth it. And... God, these suck. So this is only good for the next turn. We'll go for the obelisk. We'll pick another bonus. I don't think I'm ready to give up the elementalist. Definitely don't go for speed rewards because I haven't been able to earn those. And we can get Azure Curse. All tiles on seaside hexes gain on enter deals 3 damage to entering enemies. Cool. Okay, the Land of Winds. Elementals inhabiting this place are often bonded to certain artifacts. Possessing such an artifact allows one to command the elemental. Wind of Change creates random tiles from another act. Fighting Spirit. Enemies gain +2/+3 on attack. This is specifically why I didn't want to do things that involved me summoning lots of allies, because the more they attack, the worse off I will be. Ah, yes, the ice desert, of course. I like the possibilities here. So there's a couple of, like there's a time, or no, actually, darn it, I didn't read that properly. Okay. Growing Fear. Each turn, this unit receives 3 damage. I wonder what caused that. So we'll do our usual Mark of Darkness. And what I want to do here is I want to have a Darkblade Assassin that... actually, it would have been better to summon the Darkblade Assassin than do those two. So I need to make sure that the... oh, and the Camp of Exiles also causes corruption. I basically need to make sure that the Assassin doesn't wind up in the way of the Archaeologist. Got to be careful about that ice too, but... Oh, I didn't even appreciate that going to the edge would actually trigger twice with those guys. Okay, we're going to end the turn because I want Mark of Darkness. I don't think I want to Soul Drain something. Yeah, we're going to do Mark of Darkness to try and take out an enemy. Stop that! So this would buff this unit considerably, but we're going to go for Mark of Darkness on this one because it's quite strong. Brutal. Yeah, so this has been a pretty grim turn for me as far as my health is concerned, but we'll at least see the end of it next turn. Now, I'm curious who the... So I'd normally want to save the mana, but I don't actually know who this assassin's going to target, so I want to make sure that the specific... Basically, the specific unit that I want to see die dies. And I'm not gonna lie, this is, for a few turns of beating the crap out of the enemy units, this is not that strong of a unit. I don't feel too optimistic that I'm gonna be able to see this through to the end. I think I'm gonna lose. Swaps the attack of health of any entering unit. I'm gonna try. I don't have the ether for this. Against my better judgment, I will give up some nature energy. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. And here, I think I'll just make it so that the units fall off the edge if they get close to the shrine. Pay tribute. So this is more about getting the ether for boosting this unit more than anything. And we will pass over. So this unit should... No, they're not going to crash into the frozen lake because the unit that stood on it wasn't cursed. If I cursed this, I would have... Drat. Alright, well, we'll let this unit kill the... Oh, interesting. Now I see why that's good. It's about the units that have died before. Good to know. Let's curse them. This unit's dead, but we'll get what we can out of it. Okay, interesting. So what we want to do really is suicide as many units as possible before we're in a situation where we use the Bone Horror. Just trying to get my Bone Horror back to the shape that I had it before. Let's just keep hammering what we can on this unit. I can bring an assassin in. So this is another case where the assassin dies to this unit. Oh, they'll do their damage though. Oh, actually they survive because the... shouldn't they get a bonus because that unit was cursed? Okay, these things blow things. I actually don't remember the abilities of these. Create a random harmful tile, 2 places of power on random hexes. Or ether. I'll do the random, yeah, there's no way I'm getting those. Okay, so the skilled bomber on attack, well, it's the same thing that they always get. Let's do a random ally. Well, they might actually pick that up for me. Okay, so the skilled bomber each turn deals 12 damage to all adjacent enemies if this unit is next to the shrine, so we basically cannot afford to have a unit beside, or have this thing go beside the shrine. We're dead if that happens. Then there is the enraged ogre who stuns all adjacent enemies. Okay, so I'm not that worried about this unit. This unit will die to the... Oh no, they won't because... Okay, cool. I could try and maximize the damage with the battle right, but I prefer the Mark of Darkness for a start. I'm just going to take my chances. So almost certainly this unit dies to the skilled bomber. So I suppose at this point, with the Mark of Darkness, excuse me. So that was more to trigger the attack bonus that these units get. So at the very least, I get to take out the skilled bomber. And then I think my strategy with the enraged ogre is to just sit and do nothing once it starts attacking my shrine, because when I do nothing, that will actually reduce its attack each turn. Oh, but its attack is going to go up each time it attacks me, so that's still not a good idea. So, I wish there was more that I could do, but... Oh, we'll do kill and duel. We'll take our lumps this turn, and then next turn we'll hit them with the Mark of Darkness again. This should be enough to win the continent. All right. Treant seems fun. Nature Energy seems fun. Yeah, I think we'll do Nature Energy. Again, the Treant doesn't work because I'm full up. I'm not going to lie. I thought we were going to lose that. Still not feeling too optimistic about where this run's going to go. So the challenge here is that if I go to the chamber, I know I'm going to spend money to get the new abilities. The alternative is to go to the Sanctuary twice, spend all that ether on getting new abilities. I think I'm going to do the Sanctuary twice. So, Complex Alchemy adds +1 attack to a random ally whenever you gain ether in battle. We'll definitely do that. We will pick another perk. Rich Soil whenever you create or destroy a tile. We haven't really been making tiles. Strong Will adds 1 health to ally summoned not next to the shrine. Well, almost everybody's going to be not summoned next to the shrine. We won't buy this time, but we'll now go to the next one. So, Complex Alchemy seems like the best option here. And we can do... yeah, we'll double up on Strong Will. Okay. I don't remember... I don't believe this saves mid-battle, so I do actually realize there's a couple people in here, and I would like to be able to go a little bit further, but I do actually still have the I do actually have the sort of remaining cleanup of the desk to take care of, and I do have an early meeting tomorrow, so hopefully this was diverting for everyone. I'd love to know if you'd like to see some more of it. So I'm sort of on the fence. I do have on Wednesdays basically, I'm split now between Godless, which has just gotten its 1.0 update, and Phantom Brigade, which of course has also got a recent update. So if you have a preference one way or the other, if you like this game and would like to see more of it, I'm happy to do that next week. If you'd like to see some more Phantom Brigade, I'm happy to do that as well. And this is a case where feedback is actually very helpful for me. Of course, it's my job to figure out what I'm streaming, so if you don't offer that, that's fine. But I just thought I would throw that out there. I'm going to see... sadly, it does not look like there's anybody else playing Godless, so I don't know how much longer she will be online for, but I do know Prosciutto Fist has been playing Call of the Seed, and I actually really like watching her channel, so I'm going to leave you in her capable hands. I do recommend that you stick around. I know that Prosciutto Fist has been looking to do this more full-time. They're still a relatively new broadcaster, but somebody who I've actually found very enjoyable. I'm sorry, Lord Gloom. For those of you not familiar with Lord Gloom, he is a Magic the Gathering and Escape from Tarkov and otherwise gentleman and a scholar. But yeah, I'm going to send you off to her, just because she might be wrapping up reasonably soon as well. But thank you everybody for watching, and I will be back Friday for Phantom Liberty, Monday for more Dead Space, and then on Wednesday we will probably be doing some more Godless unless I feel like Phantom Brigade. Either way, have a good night. We will see. Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Lord Gloom. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care.